The Digital Leviathan, how the IMF is building a concentration camp on the ruins of microeconomics. The policies of international financial institutions in 2026 have finally dropped the mask of economic stimulation. What is being sold as de-shadowing and fairness is, in reality, a sophisticated form of a digital concentration camp for the average citizen, while big capital continues to enjoy the calm of offshore waters. Survival tax versus shadow dividends. Instead of developing complex mechanisms to monitor transfer pricing or blocking the outflow of billions in dividends to safe havens, the IMF chooses the path of least resistance. Their target is not the corporation with an army of lawyers, but the person selling an old motherboard or a home library on OLX just to make it to the next paycheck. For corporations, legal loopholes, tax havens, and decade-long litigations. For citizens, TIN identification, automatic tax deductions from every parcel, and total transparency of private life. The death of authentic communication. The horizontal exchange of goods between people is the last island of freedom and mutual aid in times of crisis. When the state comes to platforms like OLX demanding identification, it isn't just collecting taxes, it is digitizing privacy. Every action, every need, every act of exchange becomes an object of state surveillance. This isn't about filling the budget, it's about establishing control over grassroots connections that were previously invisible to the eye of Sauron of the tax authorities. Regressive fairness. The IMF ignores the principle of progressive taxation, where the wealthy pay more. Instead, they implement regressive pressure. The poorer you are, the more painful a 10% tax on a used item becomes. The wealthier you are, the easier it is for your assets to dissolve into the endless digital registries of Cyprus or the Virgin Islands. This is a policy where the poor grow poorer through transparency, while the rich grow richer through the confidentiality of big capital. The Sisyphus labor of the tax apparatus. The state wastes colossal resources on administering millions of tiny transactions. This is a mere imitation of activity, where the system's energy is spent shaking pennies out of the pockets of small sellers while ignoring the massive systemic leaks through which national wealth evaporates. This is not the economics of development, it is the economics of surveillance. Conclusion. We are witnessing the construction of a system where digital convenience, DIA, banking apps, becomes an instrument of financial enslavement. The IMF is not interested in social justice or the development of micro-entrepreneurship. What they require is a controllable, digital beehive, where every single bee is identified and the honey is extracted automatically. This is not a reform. This is the fiscal occupation of private space.